So there's a guy that he's a teacher at my kid's school, and he's made his money in the past, and he kind of hung it all up so he could basically work at the school. So he's basically following his kids as they go from school to
Yeah.
school, like elementary, middle school, high school, and it's an interesting thought because it's something I've kind of played around with. He's like, man, because he and we chat quite a bit. And he's
Hmm.
like, you should just sell the firm and then go and you can just hang out with your. And I'm thinking like that is it's an interesting idea. I don't know how reasonable of an idea it is, but if you were to look back, I mean, if you had an opportunity to sell your firm back then and then just kind of hang out and do something similar, like would you do that or would you have chosen the same path? Do you think?
I would have chosen the same path. You know, there's the question out there, right? What would you go back and change in your life if you could? And my answer is always nothing. I would not go back and change anything because all of that, the good, the bad, the terrible, has put me where I'm sitting right here in this seat today. I don't think that you can, I wouldn't change anything because I don't think that, number one, you can't. And number two, I think it has the potential to change so much more in ways that are unintended.
Yeah.
So I would keep it all.
Yeah. This so kind of go back to that question. How important do you think it is that you were working and that you were a role model for your daughter?
It's one of the most important things that I've ever done, right? Being a role model for my daughter is one of the most important things I've ever done. I give you an example. Allie works in juvenile justice. She works at a facility. She works for the state of Idaho, and she works at a facility where youth offenders are committed to because they violated the law. And she works there, and the work that she does stops them, hopefully, from needing people like I was or my friends, right? And so it's doing that. And I'll be perfectly honest. I was not the best role model for quite a long time. Um, I worked too much. I was impatient, that perfectionist. I was really hard on her in ways that, looking back, I wish I wasn't. But then part of me thinks, well, that's why she's as resilient as she is today, right? Again, that's part of her coming up and part of her mix to make her who she is today. And she's a fantastic human being. I tell people, anyone who will listen, I wish that when I was 31, I was her because she's so smart. She's so caring. She's got it dialed in. So being a role model to her, I modeled bad things. And I think now I model better things. Um, and I think it's one of the most important jobs I've ever had.
How closely related do you think coaching is to parenting?
I think it's the same thing. At the end of the day, I think it's the same thing. As a parent, we all want our children to succeed, whatever that means. The difference between parenting and coaching is, in parenting, we have an idea of what we want our children to be, and we may impose that on them. I think we should be more coach like, which is, hey, you get to decide what success is for you, right? What does success look like? What's the game that you want to play? And then I will do everything in my power to help you get there. As parents, we're a little bit different. And I think if we could be more coach like, our children would be better off.
Sure.